This is an interesting thing. Co-founder of this service called Armoured One. It's a program that is meant to keep schools safe. And Tino Amodei is on the line right now, co-founder of the program. 12 years of this, trying to keep schools safe. And Tino, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So explain what it is that you guys do. I mean, it's the one thing we see school shootings and we see violence in schools. It's almost become something that, whether it's a high school campus or a college campus, it's almost something that doesn't shock us the way it used to.
No, not at all. It's actually statistic out there says that there is now a active shooter that happens every 8 to 10 days. That's usually the average.
Yeah.
So it's not anything new. Unfortunately, but basically what we did is, as Armored One, we really got frustrated. We got angry that this was happening, and not so much. Obviously everybody's angry that this is happening to our schools, but what we were angry about is that very little was being done.
Yeah.
So, what we did is we didn't even intend to start a company. We are a SWAT team-based company, so we're police officers. We're run and operated by police officers. Majority of us are active duty, so we're still actually working as police officers. And we tried basically meeting with legislation and trying to make changes to the way that we handle active shooters, the way that we fund things to relate to active shooters, such as glass or locks or doors.
Yeah.
And basically we were told that there really wasn't going to be anything done because of funding, that we had to start a company. So that's how Armored One pretty much got started. Is we were very passionate. We like I said, we were frustrated, and we were parents ourselves. So what we did was we started a company that trains teachers, businesses, staff. We train them how to deal with an active shooter. We develop products that help slow down an attacker if they come to a school. So we have glass products that are meant to take attack-resistant, bullet-resistant hits to slow down an attacker. And then we also do assessments that help us go throughout the school and make recommendations on what to do. The biggest thing is that back when Sandy Hook happened, and I think we can all agree is, back when Sandy Hook happened is when we kind of all decided, let's do something about this.
Yeah.
We had Columbine that happened in 99. We had several incidents that happened between Columbine and Sandy Hook. But Sandy Hook was kind of the eye-opener of we need to do something. And all we were doing was just telling our teachers, our students, our staff to basically shut the door, lock the door, shut the lights off, and sit in a corner and essentially wait to die.
Yeah, hope that they don't that the person doesn't come into your room or wherever you're hiding. I mean, that's really what. So, what are you? You are also the author of the upcoming book, The 6 Laws of Interaction. So, how are somebody supposed to interact? Should a teacher interact? Do you teach that they should just hide somewhere? What do you teach?
Yeah. So the way that we do our training is. Basically, because we're subject matter experts for Homeland Security, we train the run, hide, fight. That's the way we do training for schools. So we teach everybody that your first option, if it's available, is to try to run.
Yep.
If you have that option, and the only time you want to try to run is when you know the actual facts. So we train schools in letting teachers know, letting students know that, hey, there's a shooter in the cafeteria. Well, if the cafeteria is on the west wing, then we know that most of the teachers and students can evacuate on the east wing, so we give them that option. The second option is then we hide. The ability to, if you can't run and you know that a shooter's getting close, try to barricade your door, lock your door, put everything in front of it, hide the best you can. If for some reason a shooter is starting to get in, then we train teachers that it's okay to fight, that it's time to fight back, that you shouldn't just wait there and do nothing. We really try to empower teachers to understand that they have options. And when we get them to understand they have options, they realize that, yes, there might be hundreds of people that have died in an active shooter event, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have survived it. And we try to empower them to get them to understand that they can actually survive an active shooter event.
You were talking about, and it makes a lot of sense, this bulletproof glass here as a private company. But did you say, though, that you are a SWAT private business? A SWAT?
Yeah, so we're run and operated by SWAT team personnel. So SWAT team are just like police officers, except we're trained differently. So as SWAT team, we're trained to handle an active shooter event. We know what goes into an active shooter event. So we take that training of how we would break down a building and how we would get into a building and then we reverse engineer it to make it more difficult for a bad guy to get into the building.
Okay.
So if we know that there's ways that hallways with fire doors, the way that they shut, we can shut off a active shooter, then we teach schools and we tell schools to go ahead and invest in their security budget to be able to have a panic system that locks and shuts all doors, fire doors. So that way that person can't travel from one side of the school to the next side.
So you would be able to contain, like you'd contain a fire, you might be able to contain an active shooter. That's something.
Well, we like to say that we like to control the active shooter.
Yeah.
We'd like to develop it so we can control him and where he would end up going. Because at the end of the day, if teachers and staff need to understand, and that's what we help them understand, is that even though, police officers, EMT, everybody's rushing to you, we're really not the first responders.
Right.
Those police officers were not the first responders. The real first responders are the teachers and the people that are in the building.
Are you a proponent of teachers in the building being armed?
We have actually an interesting, and this is my co-founder, my business partner Tom Shiz's idea. But remember when 9/11 happened? We had air marshals, right? So we had everybody thought that there was always two guys that were carrying a gun on every single airplane that was out there. Well, we found out that wasn't really the case. That there was like 1% or 2% of airplanes out there that had people that were carrying guns.
Right.
We're a proponent of having school marshals. So we would have, maybe your ex-military, maybe an ex-police officer decided to be a teacher, having one or two of those people in a school that are trained specifically for that to be able to carry a gun. We're not a proponent of having every teacher carry a gun because we know that not every single one could handle that. Yeah. But having a select few, 1, 2, or 3 people to have a gun in every school and let everybody know that's what's going on in the world.
It's almost like the concept of when you get on an airplane, you sit in the emergency exit, and they want to make sure you're capable of handling, if there was an emergency, that you could handle that at the emergency exit. The same thing would be true here. You'd find teachers that would be capable of handling this. Maybe they're already a hunting enthusiast or something like that, and those are the people that are targeted to get the training.
Absolutely. There's already states that are doing that in the United States, other than, obviously, New York is not one of them, but you do have states like Florida that has made that into a possibility that teachers can carry.
All right, interesting.
Now, you are based in Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken, but how many counties...
Oh, I didn't know you were based out of Syracuse.
Yeah, right here.
Didn't have
we're not
no
that
idea.
far from each other.
Okay,
so how far of a reach do you offer your services, at least from the, I guess, the educational standpoint of your business?
Yeah, we're actually expanding all the way across the United States. So currently we're in 6 or 7 states right now, right surrounding New York. But we're talking to Nevada, we're talking to California. So we're really taking our training and our products basically throughout the United States currently, and hopefully worldwide in the future.
All right. One other thing I wanted to mention is there's been a change over the years where oftentimes an active shooter would mean something a little different. We'd think of somebody going in, they're taking hostages, they want to create a scene, a moment of their own demented celebrity, or they want something and they're holding hostages because of that. That has changed. Now it seems that these people go in with one goal, and that is to kill.
Yep.
Which is why
go down in history.
Yeah.
They want to try to be better than the guy before them.
Yeah.
Because we study the history of active shooter on everything that happens. So I don't think you'll find a more educated, experienced group that understands active shooters, that the hostage stuff doesn't even happen at all. That now what it is that it's a kill count. If it's somebody who's coming in directly to hurt somebody in particular, that's usually when you get 1 or 2 people that get shot. But we find like the Columbine where they wanted to get as many as they possibly can, and then just recently we've had a couple incidents that were thwarted because police were able to catch them in time, but they were going to reenact the Columbine type of incident.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. If people had any questions for their own district or just wanted to reach out to you, how would they get to you?
Absolutely. They can just find us right online. It's armoured1.com, and we're spelt a little bit differently than the normal, but ARMOUREDONE.com. Right. They can go right there, and there's a place where they can fill out one of our forms, and email gets sent to all of us. And then also they can find us right on Facebook, so facebook.com/Armoured One as well.
All right, Tino, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. We'll talk again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day, guys.
Okay.